So, Dr. Berry, we have an electrolyte supplement, and we made it because, well, we wanted to get something that has just electrolytes, no sugar, no flavoring, no colors, no caffeine, and you seem to kind of like it.
I do, yeah, very much, just for those reasons.
Yeah, and well, we introduced it a couple of years ago. We have other products as well that, hey, some people like, some people don't like, but the electrolytes, it seems that everybody likes it. Yeah. Why do you like our electrolytes?
Well, I like them for exactly the reasons you said. I love this little bottle. I actually have one in my pocket right now.
Do you really?
Yeah, I carry one with me everywhere because human beings are mammals, and we need electrolytes every day. If you
Wait, you can't make electrolytes?
No, they're elements. And
that's
so unless you personally can perform fusion in your body, nuclear fusion, then you can't make these. You have to get these. Preferably, I'd rather you get them from the food you eat. Mm-hmm. Problem is that a lot of our soils have been repetitively farmed with monocrops for decades and decades, maybe some soils over a century now. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the minerals, which are what electrolytes are depleted. And so therefore you can eat the broccoli and you can eat the ribeye. But if the broccoli didn't grow in a magnesium and a potassium rich soil, it can't have it because broccolis, they also can't initiate fusion.
Synthesize. Yeah,
that's right. They can't do that. It has to be in the soil. If the grass they eat didn't have magnesium and potassium, they can't also perform fusion, and so there will not be as much. And actually, there are studies to show that vegetables of today have less magnesium and potassium as they did even 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason is soil depletion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this way I know that I'm getting plenty of sodium and chloride, which is what we think of as table salt, which is actually very healthy for the human body. But you're also getting magnesium and potassium with no artificial anything, no flavors, no sweetness that would elevate my insulin level. And they have a nice salty flavor. I love the taste of them. Nisha doesn't love them. She has to mix them with something. But she still uses them because she knows that it's mandatory to have optimal levels of magnesium and potassium in your body to function at an optimal level.
Yeah. Well, and one interesting thing about these is because we're getting it from a natural source, it's also coming along with a lot of trace minerals.
Yes.
And some of them we don't even put on the label because they're minute enough amounts that we're not declaring it, but they're there.
Yeah.
It's the different things like chromium and selenium, things that are very difficult to get anymore.
Yeah. And many of those, actually, the FDA recognizes that these are essential, and there's a daily value that you should try to get. And there are trace elements. There are traces of those elements in this because it comes from the Great Salt Lake.
That's right.
Right? And so it's a very natural, it's an inland ocean, basically. Yeah. And so it's protected from all the pollution and microplastics that you would find in the Pacific or the Atlantic or the Mediterranean or any other ocean. But this has all of those micro minerals, you could say, in it without any of the pollution and without any of the additives. Everybody wants to add a flavor or a sweetener or some maltodextrin or something to it.
Maltodextrin.
I don't want any of that. I just want magnesium, potassium, and the other trace elements that I need, and then also sodium and chloride, both of which my body needs. And look, we could talk about this for a second. On lab tests, when you check somebody's complete metabolic panel, and a magnesium, what's the highest number? Sodium.
It should be sodium, right?
It's sodium, right? And so everybody's like, oh, sodium's bad. But actually, it's normal for you to have a very high level of sodium in your blood. Chloride's the same way. That's the second highest one. When you look at the normal range of normal, it's a very high number. Whereas magnesium is down around the 3.5 range. Sodium is in the 135 range.
Magnesium's really tightly controlled, right?
All four of them are super tightly controlled. And your body will actually take magnesium or potassium from your muscles. It'll take it from any of your body tissues, your bones, to keep your serum magnesium and serum potassium level within this very tight normal limit. Because if it gets too high or too low, you immediately start to have serious medical problems. Heart arrhythmias, you can actually have a heart attack if your magnesium is low enough. And this way you're assured that you're getting enough. If you take a little bit too much magnesium or potassium, you urinate it away.
Okay.
That's what your kidneys are for. That's what they're there for.
Wait, I can detox?
You can do detox
Nice.
naturally. And so if you were to, take this whole bottle of electrolyte drops, you would just pee it out.
I'd probably vomit first.
Or that. Yeah. And maybe some diarrhea later, right?
That's true.
But that's the thing is your body knows exactly what to do with these elements.
This is something that we're evolved to take care of.
Your body has got this, but you have to provide it because the human body, even the best athlete that you know, can't perform fusion inside their body. So you have to take these elements into your body, either through your diet, preferably, or use an electrolyte supplement if you have to.
Yeah. Now, how do you use these?
Every cup of coffee, I put a capful in the cup of coffee. I actually like salty coffee, so I love that. And so it doesn't taste bad to me at all. Sometimes I'll put them in the food.
Okay, just like when you're like instead of salt, you're just putting some of that on.
Exactly right. Because again, in order to break magnesium down and make it not magnesium anymore, you need fission. And my stove doesn't get that hot. So the magnesium and potassium stay in the food. And it also gives it a nice little salty flavor.
Oh, nice. How does Nisha like to do it?
She puts it in her coffee.
Oh, just in her coffee?
Yeah, and then she puts a couple of drops of stevia to not taste the saltiness.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Thanks for telling everybody about the electrolytes. It's something that we really are passionate about as far as getting the right electrolytes to people. When I started keto, I got keto flu so bad.
Yeah.
It was awful. I literally Googled keto and flu. Oh, that's a thing.
Yep, absolutely. And sometimes keto flu there is a large part of it that is carbohydrate withdrawal symptom. Part of it's withdrawal symptoms because you're addicted to the carbohydrates. But minerals, electrolytes can really diminish the severity of keto flu. Keto flu is not dangerous, and we shouldn't even call it keto flu.
Yeah.
We should call it carbohydrate withdrawal. Because that's what it actually is, or low electrolytes. And this fixes that and helps tremendously with the symptoms of keto flu.
Amazon doesn't even let us say anything about keto flu because we can't say anything about influenza.
Right.
I can say electrolyte deficiency. So
Nice.
It is indicated for the treatment of electrolyte deficiency.
Yeah. And another interesting fun fact for you, you can actually go to your doctor and have him check your potassium and magnesium, and they can be perfectly normal.
Oh, yeah.
And your body can still be very depleted in potassium and magnesium because remember earlier I said it's very tightly controlled. Yeah. And so your bone and muscle levels of magnesium and potassium might be very low, but your blood level's normal. That's why people have muscle cramps, muscle twitches. That's what the muscle is basically saying, hey, dummy, get some electrolyte drops.
Now, we do also have the magnesium drops.
Yep.
Do you use those at all?
I do sometimes. Usually I use those at bedtime.
Yes.
Because magnesium is very good for helping you drift off to sleep naturally. It's not like the habit-forming sleeping pills. It's not like taking Benadryl, which is an antihistamine, which can mess with your thinking the next day.
Oh, yeah.
Magnesium is a very natural way for you, and it doesn't knock you out. Some few people maybe, but most people, it just helps you drift off naturally into a good, deep sleep.
Well, it's the relaxant part of the electrolytes,
Exactly right.
So the sodium helps for the contraction. Magnesium is the relaxant.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right. Thanks.